Yeah, so we had a great meeting last time, and then nothing happened with it. And I was feeling kind of low energy. I was caught up because my dad was for a while going through really some tough health things, and we lined up like hospice care for him, which Medicare paid for completely. So that's a whole other topic that I was thinking about for like elderly neighbors in our neighborhood, like how to, if any of them need healthcare and they've been paying Medicare taxes their whole life, then there's definitely a program that will help them, because it's helping my dad as well. And that's like one other vision for Arcology, is that like we could help neighbors get these resources.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to apply for them, and you may be worried that it's a scam. My dad was worried it was a scam, and so it took us a while to trust it. And so anyway, I was distracted with that last month, and then Tony said he was going on this program, like he was to Soulfire Farms or something. So time seemed limited. We were into the growing season, and I know you wanted to get your garden started. So I was thinking of some way we could apply funds for it, but also, I wanted it to be sort of a bigger neighborhood decision, like have neighbors know about the garden, come by for a tour, and then kind of like maybe pay a small membership fee and then be able to harvest vegetables, or some kind of program where it was like a little more sustainable than just starting it in a rushed way. So
Hey, Damien.
What's going on, y'all?
How you doing, man?
Doing good.
Are you working on the house?
Nice
Yeah,
view, Dave.
Yep, on the roof right now.
Oh shit, you're on the roof?
Oh
Yeah.
man,
That's hardcore.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, we
Don't
should
fall. Don't fall.
we should don't
No,
yeah,
I'm
definitely
good.
don't.
Everything good.
Yeah, all you investors watching this video, this is how dedicated Damien is. So this is can we get a short tour, or are you in the middle of something right now? Can you like give us a spin around the roof?
You said what, bro?
Are you busy right now? Can you give us a spin around the roof? Like let us see what's going on.
Oh no, I ain't at the crib. I'm this like one of our people cribs. So I'm just helping them. But I'll still give you a tour though.
Oh, okay. This is not log
Oh,
cabin.
you're not at log cabin.
No, we like right around the corner from over there. We putting this foam board up.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Rigid foam insulation. Some Pink Panther. Yeah, who's your bro? Is that Snatch?
Yeah, yep.
Hey, Snatch.
He said, "What up, though? What up, bro?"
Yeah.
So,
Good to see you. Yeah. Well, since it's just us, the main business I wanted to discuss was that I had a chance to look at a generic multi-member LLC contract, and I think it'll work for us. Like, I don't think we need to add a ton of stuff. And the hard part was the accounting, but I actually started learning and using this accounting software called Odoo, which will make it easy to keep accounts. And so I totally volunteered to do the accounting.
No, we're gonna put brand new shit.
Do the accounting part. And so then now I think if we want to invest in log cabin, I think I just want to check with you, Damien, whether the house, you can transfer its title to an LLC, because I know you have a contract with the land bank that says if you don't finish it in 6 months, then you have to give it back, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I was just checking to see whether you can even transfer the title, or whether the title is still belongs to the land bank, if that makes sense, and they've just kind of leased it to you for 6 months.
At this point, yeah, it still belongs to the land bank, but after everything is done, then they transfer it to me. And at that point, I could do whatever I want. But it's gonna be at least a 6-month process. It could probably be longer than that, though. I'm not just entirely sure of the exact timeline with it, though.
Yeah. So it's 6 months from when you got the house, which has actually been like 2 months now, right? So you only have
like a few months. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, I'm imagining some kind of contract with just you, saying like when you get the house, and if we invest and sort of put in hours or whatever you think is fair, that you'll turn it over to the LLC, and then we can all. The contract mainly says whenever there are proceeds, like whenever there's rent or whenever the house is sold, it's divided up among all the owners by proportion of their ownership share. So, you know, if you own 50%, Damien, then and the house gets sold or we rent the house, then that means you get 50% of every payment that we get. And it doesn't say anything else. Like it doesn't say like how we sell it or who we rent it to. I think that's all open. All it discusses is what happens with the money, which I guess is what most people care about. So
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I mean, did you already had something drew up already, or you was just saying like that's an example or something?
I mean, this is a template, but we can have our lawyers, the Detroit Justice Center, look it over. But I mean, I think there's a standard. This is something that other LLCs use, and it's very general. It doesn't say anything about houses or anything. It could be any business. It's just how to share money, how to put in money, and you know, and then how we divide it and take it out. So I think it's ready to go as long as, you know, we give it a read and the lawyers give it a read, and then we decide what the upfront capital contributions. Like I know you're working with Snatch and Slim. What's Slim's real name, by the way? Is it Kyle?
Yeah, I thought you knew his real name.
Okay, because sometimes in documents I feel like I should put Kyle instead of Slim.
Yeah, like put Kyle.
And what's Snatch's real name?
Hold on, I'm about to be a T to tell you.
Okay.
Hello? What you say, bro?
Hey, Snatch.
What's the deal?
What's your real name?
Oh, Dennis.
Dennis.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we make a contract up, we'll put Dennis down.
Like, yeah, we gonna like everybody real names. We, you know what I'm saying? We'll put the real names and shit on.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be great if it was Slim and Snatch, but you know, in a court of law, it would never get that far. But they might want identification. So I know you guys have already started a partnership, and so whatever percentages you think is fair to divide it with, you know, just you can throw out percentages to us. The DAO has funds which are worth about 5,000, and I think we discussed roughly that 900 would be fair to go to Tony because he started this garden and did a bunch of work. But then the remaining amount, I'm open to discuss how we should invest it as well. So yeah, Adrian, does that division sound okay to you, or do you think there are more things that we should divide it up with? How much do you think we could invest in Log Cabin if we wanted to? I'm in favor of all the rest, like 900 to Tony, and then you know, 4,100 to Log Cabin, and in return for an ownership share, which we would, you know, let's say me and Adrian would keep for the neighborhood, like, you know, whatever proceeds come from the sale of the house, you know, I, at least for my share, I would give it back to the neighborhood. And
yeah, I mean, I don't personally consider myself it wouldn't be on a person if it's coming from this DAO. I don't consider myself owning that money. You know, it's kind of like collectively owned funds. So yeah, I think it would just be, I guess yeah. So I personally don't consider myself. I wouldn't consider. Yeah, because they're kind of just, yeah. Damien, do you know? Yeah, they're basically just kind of like they came in from sort of like a grant, I guess, that Paul's kind of applied for.
Right.
And then but then me currently is me, Tony, Kareem, and Paul and Diana, my wife, who have like the ability to vote on any proposal. So that's kind of like, it's just like that's, and then if a majority votes for something, then the funds just get distributed, you know, dispersed. So that's kind of like how the thing works.
Okay.
Well, wait back a minute, Adrian. Don't cover that headline. Did you say Diana's your wife now?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man! Congrats.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, we got married in Tucson.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. All right. That we'll celebrate later, but yeah, that's the.
Yeah, we went out for a little celebration with Kareem and some other, but yeah, we're having a big celebration in Detroit in September. So.
Oh yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, man.
Congrats.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it feels
Already
good.
know.
Yeah, we had a small ceremony with our 2 families in my hometown in Tucson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Oh, that's what that was. Okay, nice.
Yeah, where it's nice and sunny every day.
I mean, I know it. I'm gonna miss that, but it's nice in Detroit now too.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful outside right now.
Yeah, I know. That's why we out here working.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So what?
No,
What
it sound
feedback?
like
you could-
everything y'all said sounded good. It sound like if the money was coming from the DAO, then the DAO would receive the ownership. You know what I'm saying? The shares. I think that's what I got out of what you were just saying, right?
Yeah, it's not a legal entity yet, and so we could make it something like we have 2 people put their names down, like me and Adrian, or me, Adrian, Kareem, and Tony, and in the contract it just says that, you know, we're the steward, we're trustees basically, so we can't receive the money, but we can decide how to spend it, and we can say like we're only allowed to give it to nonprofits or something like that. But so whoever wants to be in the contract as a group, like as the DAO group, then we'll get our share, whatever share $5,000 or $4,000 buys. And then the feedback we'd want from you and Snatch and Slim is sort of like, you know, how much of a share of a percentage of the house would $4,000 be worth? And then also Adrian talked to Detroit Community Wealth Fund, Margot, and I think they loan to cooperatives. So if we now qualify for a loan from them, like a 0 interest loan, then that would be, you know, maybe another 5,000 or 10,000. I'm not really sure. Adrian, do you know?
I mean, yeah, there's no, I mean, it would just, that would be something that they would only loan to a legal organization that was in line with their mission of like, yeah, so that, yeah. And then the organization would have to take on the loan formally, right? Which is at 0 interest. Yeah.
Right. So this LLC that we would form would say, you know, there are 3 human members, which are
that would not, from my conversation with Margot, that would not be sufficient to getting a loan from them, because they want to see a lot more. They want to see a lot more, like they would just want to have a lot more detail around how to find. I mean, if it's possible, we could see, but I think my intuition is that they would want to see more. The impression I got from Margot was just that they want to see more of a presentation of like the long-term vision for the organization and how it would work, how funds would be distributed to members, who would be members, how you can become a member, all of these kind of things.
Right.
Like more of a long-term vision for things rather than just a simple agreement, you know, between a few people. I think that they were looking for more of a larger vision, kind of presented in like a PowerPoint, for example.
Yeah, well, I mean, I totally get it. And I've started something like that. Like I did present to this other meetup, Detroit New Tech. That was more of a technical talk, but it did, you know, I can talk more about governance.
Yeah.
A lot of it is planned. So, you know, we have these great plans, but it takes a while to do, like, you know, I was going to do a mass mailing, like a paper mailing survey to all the neighbors in Highland Park and LaSalle Gardens with a survey. And then, you know, I would, the survey would just ask questions of sort of, you know, what would you like us to work on in the neighborhood? Are there people who need help with healthcare? Are there people who need help with housing? And, you know, do you think we should be a nonprofit? Do you think we should be a co-op? And the data from that would sort of give us, I think, more credibility in just doing stuff. Because right now, I think we're just making it up as we go along, what we think is useful. And fixing up any house is good for the neighborhood in a general sense, right? Because you see less blight, and you're, you know, probably providing jobs and hopefully renting it out affordably. But it sounds like they want something more specific, which it would be good for us to do, but it may take time. Like it is something that I can work on when I'm back in May.
Yeah, I think that was just kind of Margot's, and
Okay.
I can pull out more. Yeah, I know I never posted a summary, but that was, she basically just wants it. It's really, look, you know, their website has all the information about them as an organization, what types of things they fund. But yeah, I think they would just want to see a buttoned up presentation. And yeah, Margot's pretty chill. So yeah, it's kind of like just a buttoned up presentation that makes it crystal clear what the kind of like organizational
Should
structure
be getting to
is,
the end.
and yeah, so that, and how, and who benefits, who is a member, how do they benefit, how does all of that work? So yeah, so and so I think it might be that it takes longer to solidify that, but I think it wouldn't we would want to present something fairly concrete to them, and if we ask for more of their time to present.
Okay, yeah, when you get a chance to post those notes, because I think I have a sense of what it is, but it'd be useful to see what you actually wrote down, because it sounds like you did write something.
Sure. I can submit more detailed if that's valuable for you. Yeah.
Well, for me,
it was like a half hour, or not. Yeah, but for anyone. But yeah, it was like a half hour conversation. So I could on the phone, so I could just kind of I'll summarize that in some notes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's appreciated. Okay, so, and then Adrian, I know at some point you wanted to invest, and actually the way this all started was we were talking about investing in a house together and doing something that was good for the neighborhood, but then also provided a reasonable return. And my house, I've been very slow about it, and I don't think I have the temperament to be the general contractor. So now I found a general contractor. His name's Alonzo. He gave me a quote today. It was a really good quote, and I had to even pay to get the quote. I had to pay him $200 to even show up, but he took detailed measurements and he did a good job. So I feel good about him. And he hires like high school kids and people who want to learn and helps them. He does job training, and he's licensed and insured. So I feel pretty good about using him going forward. But I know originally, I made all these promises at the beginning to like you and Ethan and other people that this would be an investment, and it hasn't organized in a way that is very clear. And now I sort of feel like what I'm doing should probably be a nonprofit. But I wanted to say that, Adrian, if you have money that you want to invest in a neighborhood cause, Damien, I think, is like way better at general contracting a house and has presented something that I think is a socially responsible investment. So
yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah.
I just wanted to float that idea as well. Like I have a little of my own money to invest as well, and I really like what Damien is doing. But if you're looking for something that was the original motivation to join Detroit Arcology, because I know, we were tracking hours and things, and I wanted to value your time, but at the same time, most of what I'm doing is kind of nonprofit stuff. So for that desire, if you still have that desire, I would say we should invest with Damien. And I think
that makes sense to me. Yeah.
He's making much faster progress, and this house is going to benefit the neighborhood. And in the contract, you can be a private citizen. Like you don't have to represent the DAO. You can just say like, I, Adrian Lorenzi, am going to get a share proportional to my investment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I would be willing to put in a small amount too. It's not as much as I had before I bought 3731, because that's where most of my money is. Cool. So those are just ideas, and then I'll send a link to the contract again, just so we can all read it. And if it's okay with you, I'll write back to our lawyers and say like, this is what we're considering. What do you think? Like, do you have any advice, or should we meet again to talk about it? And then the feedback that we'd want from Damien, Slim, and Snatch is sort of how much is that amount worth for the ownership percentage? Yeah, so 4,000 from the DAO, approximately, and then however much, if Adrian wants to invest, he can name an amount. For me, it would probably be something smaller, like 1,000 right now, and then possibly, the loan from Detroit Community Wealth Fund.
All right.
Yeah, you don't have to answer now, but does that sound like it would still be a useful amount to you, or is there something different we can do that would be more useful?
No, that's good. I guess you could just start by just sending whatever you got, and then we could just review it and go from there, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a Google Doc. I posted it on the forum. I'll send it to you guys directly. It already has the address name, 16669 Log Cabin Road, and it has names in it. So yeah, it's a pretty standard document.
Yeah. Okay,
And,
yeah, that sounds good, bro.
Okay. Well, I think that's it. Does anyone else have thoughts about log cabin? I know it's maybe for other people who live at your house, Adrian, you know, they probably haven't met Damien yet or seen log cabin house, so they may not know a lot about it. But maybe as we go forward, before we vote, Damien, would you mind inviting people over for like a tour if they're interested? Like anyone who wants to come over and look at the house, just to see what they're investing in.
Yeah, of course. You know, yeah, if they can see whatever, you know, it's whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll be back in May, and we can wait until then. But Adrian, if you're not too busy with honeymoon stuff, then see if Kareem and Tony, because I know they're busy, they've got other stuff too, if they're interested in a house tour with Damien at some point.
Yeah, I'll convey this to them and say if they're on board with that idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I can convey this to, I'll be the messenger because I see both of them regularly. So yeah, I'll let them both know as well, you know, tell them what the kind of proposal is.
Yeah, and we're open to different amounts too. I just threw out the numbers that it should be 900 to Tony and 4,000 to log cabin. There could be other configurations. There could be like another cause that we want to give some money to. We could also save some of it and invest it. I'm happy to invest it on behalf of the DAO or the nonprofit for future returns. And so all of these are possible.
One thing to bring up too, Paul, is what is your thoughts on the Northwestern? You're thinking you'd rather maintain your like put that under some other type of entity like a nonprofit? Is that way? Because yeah, we had the Detroit Justice Center we did have that that operating agreement that, you know, we had drafted and gotten there sort of, they had made some feedback changes to that, you know, they had made some suggested edits. So before we went back to them, I wouldn't, you know, I would want to be clear about what's going on there because I want to be very respectful of the time they are spending, you know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we do owe them a response. I haven't looked at it, unfortunately, because, well, for a while, you know, like I said, I was like really preoccupied with other things not related to Arcology, but I do want to turn it over to a neighborhood organization. And part of the mass paper mailing, like mailing out all these surveys to the neighbors, is to find, you know, at least 50 neighbors who are willing to be trustees, you know, of this, you know, nonprofit essentially organization that would own the house and then, you know, sell the house to a low-income buyer, like someone who qualified for a mortgage, like a first-time home buyer, low-income family, and then to use the proceeds, you know, they would pay people back who contributed. Like, for example, they would pay me back the original cost of the house. I'm not accepting, you know, salary for the time put in, but definitely, you know, all the materials. I would be asking for reimbursement. And then I know, Adrian, you put in time, other people, lots of people, including Damien, have put in time according to the spreadsheet that I have been keeping track of. So that's the general idea, is that the Northwestern House is turned over to this nonprofit organization with trustees. The trustees are taken from the neighborhood. You know, we request to be reimbursed for these things. We're not, you know, trying to make a profit. I'm not trying to make a profit off of it. And then any money that comes from that house, I would like to see, you know, put into future houses, which is part of the long-term plan, also governed by that nonprofit, by that trustee. So this would be part of the long-term plan that I put together in a presentation for Detroit Community Wealth Fund.
Okay, cool. That makes
feedback.
sense.
And it depends, like, you know, if we get back all these letters from people, from neighbors, and they say like, well, you know, this plan doesn't make sense, or we prefer this other plan, or have you thought about this other thing? You know, I definitely want to be open to what many other people besides just us think should be done with the house.
Yeah.
But I yeah, definitely want it to be sort of a nonprofit house. I would feel bad if we sold it to like someone who moved here from Brooklyn and was a you know, a programmer who could pay 6 figures for the house or something. I wouldn't feel. I
So
mean,
yeah,
on one hand, that money would be great to donate. Actually, yeah, if the neighborhood decides that we should sell it to a rich programmer, then I would do it. But if the neighborhood decides they want to sell it to to one of their own, someone who's been here for a while, I would be happy about that too.
And you're no longer pursuing like NACA as a mechanism, rather, or is that still?
I do want to sell it to a NACA buyer. I think that's
NACA buyer, yeah.
That's the biggest. And Damien, if I haven't talked about NACA before, it's a low income mortgage, and they never say no to anyone. They accept everyone. If you have a bad credit score, like you can't give a down payment, like they accept everyone. It may take a while. They work with you to build up a good payment history, but so if you get through the 10 steps of NACA, and I'm on step 3, I just finished step 2, then you've checked all these boxes, and you get counseling and accountability to sort of stay on the program. And it's kind of like a 12-step program, but for, you know, reducing debt and earning equity in your home instead of quitting drugs. It's quitting the drug of rents. Yeah, everyone should stop taking that drug.
Yeah, for real. Yeah,
but that's
sure.
So if we accept someone from NACA, then we know they passed through, you know, another organization has sort of screened them, and then that organization will also work with them. Like if they miss a payment, if something comes up in their life, NACA will work with them. And there's a mortgage insurance. So like if they miss a few payments, the insurance like will cover that. Because I don't want to be a mortgage company. I don't want to hound people, but I do want it to go to someone who is, you know, they're earning their first home. They have probably lived in Detroit for a while, and they want to work hard. And at the end of it, they want to have a nice house. So that's kind of who my ideal buyer is.
Right. I like that idea. You know, I think that sounds like a good idea. If you want to reach that kind of audience, then yeah, for sure.
Adrian, does that make sense in terms of NACA?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I was just, yeah, I guess because I was just clarifying, because in my mind, it was, I just remember, yeah, like, yeah, it sounded more like almost you would directly sell it to a NACA buyer, but you instead want to first turn it over to a sort of a board, a trust, entity, and then that entity would then hopefully sell it to a NACA buyer, I guess, because at that point it wouldn't be up to you, or it would be up to the trustees, right?
Right. Well, like, could it be some type of agreement where they have to sell it to somebody? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you could put that in a provision. It has to be sold to a NACA buyer. That's a good idea. Yeah, put that into the agreement with the trustee.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, that definitely makes sense as a way to ensure that. I don't know if Paul, do you hear Paul? Yeah, it looks like you got frozen.
Oh, got froze.
What part of town are you in, Damien?
I'm right around the corner from Log
Oh, you're right around the block. Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, right around the corner. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, what else has been new with you anyway, though? Have you just been working a bunch on are you just working on this house in the log cabin, or other ones too?
Yeah, we had a couple other projects too.
Oh yeah, keeping busy.
No, this is good.
What you say, bro?
Oh no, nothing. I was just saying. Yeah, you said you were working on some other projects too, besides those two.
I know, cause that board right there. Yeah.
So we ain't got to go that high. We just put it up there until you ready
To take that shit
Yeah,
down.
as long as we take the ball.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, so that should be high enough. Yeah, we had like really all our projects really like in this neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? My brothers, they grew up over here, so they know a lot of people over here. We always over here, so we always see people who need work.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Cool. Well, cool. I'll let you get back to work. I don't know if Paul's coming back, but I'm heading out myself over to do a little rock climbing actually. Oh wait, there's Paul. Are you back, Paul? Hey, what's up, Paul?
Everyone, sorry about that. My iPhone just said it was too hot for some reason, so I didn't. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Famous Arizona summers here already. So I turned on the air conditioner of my car. I was sitting unair conditioned like a prisoner.
Oh, damn.
But yeah, I missed what you were saying. You were saying something about Naka.
Oh yeah, I guess to rephrase, yeah, Damien had a good suggestion. Yeah, I was just clarifying. So it sounds like what you think is what you're kind of planning to do with the house is turn the title over from your name to this board, this sort of trust nonprofit organization with trustees that control it, and then the house would ideally be sold by the board, the board to, or the trustee organization to a NACA buyer. And Damien made the good suggestion that the suggestion I thought made a lot of sense of like putting that into the contract that like it had to be sold to a NACA buyer. Yeah,
Definitely.
Oh yeah, that's cool. So it won't be so flimsy trying to walk around.
I thought that was a good idea. But I was just kind of clarifying, because in my mind I thought you were gonna, I was thinking you were thinking maybe you would sell the house directly to a NACA buyer, but you want to first, your thought is more first transfer it to the trust, the trustees, and then from there it would be sold to a NACA buyer.
Yeah, and ideally as soon as possible, like as soon as we clear a contract and find trustees, I would want to transfer the house over even before the house is done renovating. And we can even ask the trustees, like I definitely, I'll submit this budget that Alonzo sent me. And I think a lot of it are good things to have him do. Others we can do ourselves, finishing demolition of the whole house. That's something that we could ask for help from Damien and his crew to do. I can do wiring. They gave a really good price for the kitchen and bathroom. But if we turn it over to the trustee, I would have no problem asking for their permission before we made these expenses as well. Say like, well, we'd like to add this value to the house that will like raise the cost. Is this okay with you? And if they come back and say like, well, it's too expensive, or we don't need to do this, like we don't need to do the basement, we don't need to do the garage, then I would listen to that too.
I don't think so.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if anything else comes up about that, it sounds like I'll review the meeting again, because I think a lot of action items came out, including giving feedback to the lawyers,
About two
and then the DAO. I would like to wrap up. Is it okay if we move on and talk a little technical stuff about the DAO? It's not interesting to everyone, but it is something that Adrian, you could help me with.
Sure.
So Damien, the funds are in a DAO, an old DAO that we started in 2019, and the fees are high to do anything. Like pull money out of it would even cost, I think, like $50 to $100. So I only want to do it once, and then move it to a new DAO where each action takes about 2 cents. So it's much more efficient now. Technology's come a long way, and it still requires people to trust people to do the right thing. And so, for example, let's say we both delegate to Adrian and say like, we're going to divide up the $5,000 to be this proportion, this budget. Some goes to Tony in the garden, some goes to Log Cabin House. But then we're going to transfer all of it to someone, who knows how to convert it, like Adrian. And then, on the blockchain, everything is transparent. So from the moment it leaves the DAO to when it goes to Adrian, to when Adrian converts it and sends it to the right destinations, Adrian, we would delegate to him to like give Tony his fair share, and then to invest the appropriate amount to Log Cabin. We'd only do that once, and then we'd close down the old DAO, and then we create a new DAO, and any future funds that we apply for, because we can apply for grants like this again, or we could save some money this time, or we could, so there are other organizations now that are interested in home construction projects and lending for it. And so we could approach and, once we've put together a pitch deck, I'm happy to sort of go on the road and talk to these other organizations. And so if they give us new funds or lend us anything, it would go into this new DAO. It would have some of the old members who wanted to be on it, like if Kareem and Tony wanted to be on it, they could. My sense is that they don't really want to pay attention to the technical details, which I totally get. So I see the DAO as not as the whole organization. I see it as like a servant, like a secretary, where the people who want to pay attention to the technology, starting with me, can do it, and we make decisions that we think are best for the group. But then legally on paper, the DAO is just one trustee, and all the other trustees are human. And in the legal contract, it says that the DAO can only do things that the other humans tell it to, and it doesn't really have power by itself. So it's a very mechanical, low-level, secretarial kind of function.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I've been communicating to Tony, just kind of helping him understand how it works and stuff too. So yeah, and he's also in there, so he can his portion can just go directly to him. Right? That's a proposal, and I can help him navigate that.
Yeah, if the old DAO supports multiple payees, if it only supports one payee, then it should probably go to you, and you can divide it as directed.
Oh, you're saying you think the whole amount should all just come out at once? Yeah, to one payee.
Yeah, because otherwise we'd be paying like $50 for each one, and
yeah, that's
$50
crazy.
could go. That could even go towards like pizza and beer for the house. That doesn't have to go towards fees. Then again, that's a technical detail. Nerds like talking about that, but I imagine most trustees and most people in the nonprofit, the neighborhood trust, probably would not be in the DAO and may not care. We could have meetings of just the subcommittee that wants to run the DAO, talk about technical details. But I imagine that most people who show up to the meeting and vote will do it on paper or by voice and talk in person.
Yeah.
And then it'll just be the job of the DAO to translate their vote into actions.
Yeah, I mean, I personally was always a little hesitant of the idea of having having a more traditional structure kind of probably makes sense. Just, the important thing is that it's accessible to people. And I think that was something that was learned from that, is that it's not easy for people to learn how to interact with it. And that's obviously a problem. We want to make everything as accessible as possible, and having this technology that's hard to work with definitely not, clearly is against that goal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't want the technology to be the centerpiece. It's there to make some things easier. And right now, the only thing it makes easier is raising money from interested people around the world. So people who actually care and think it's cool what we're doing in Detroit. You can think of it as just donations of people who don't care that we're not a nonprofit yet.
Yeah.
But could be something more in the future. So that's it's one function that makes easier. It shouldn't be the only one. And
that's a good point. Yeah, so that could be the way to think of the utility of it, is kind of a fundraising tool, really.
So far, yeah. And I just wanted to say I'm okay with doing most things with legal contracts and paper, and I think most people would be, and showing up in person, right? Like even a lot of people don't like Zoom as well, which I get. So
yeah. Cool. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So how are you feeling about the garden? I know that you probably already moved on ahead or started planting or
yeah, the garden is just going to be a community garden. So yeah, I don't think, that's always been my intention with it. Personally, and I think the rest of the house, we all just like to work in the garden. We've been, pulling weeds together, and we just planted a couple new trees. So yeah, we just want to kind of operate it as a community garden, which is pretty much how it's been. And I'm going to be I'm going to a block club meeting for my immediate neighborhood on it's on Sunday afternoon, and so I'm going to go to that and basically just that'll be a place to kind of meet more folks, and as well as like tell people about the community garden, which is just basically just going to be anyone who's interested in engaging with it. It's open to kind of anyone in the area to just kind of participate in, and we've always offered it as like anyone can kind of people nearby can join, you can be a part of it, and we intend to do that as well. So yeah, and Tony's helping just kind of like helps getting the structure set up, and myself, Diana, Hannah, we're all going to be putting in time to just plant things, and Caesar last year, our neighbor across the street, he's been involved in the garden. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's our current plan.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. At your block club meeting, do you think it would?
It's not my block club meeting; it's the block club meeting. I'm joining. Yeah.
Sure. The block club of around Hanover House.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with my house. Yeah, nearby. Yeah, so a guy named Wayne is organizing it. He lives on Lothrop. Yeah.
Okay, great. And you were saying that club is probably a little smaller and wouldn't include the Northwestern House.
Yeah, I can ask Wayne, but most likely it wouldn't. Like that's just my guess. It's just like that seems, because I think there was tradition in the past. There was another group, but maybe Wayne. Yeah, I guess I could just text Wayne and say, hey, are you interested in joining that? I can ask on your behalf if he thinks it would be appropriate for you to come to it. Or I guess you're not going to be around, so yeah, it's not remote. I think it's in person.
Yeah, well, I would prefer it to be in person too, but like for the future, yeah, you just ask like, hey, if we have friends who live at this address, Northwestern and Dexter. Would they be eligible to join the club, or is it in the purpose? And it's okay if it's not, because they want to keep it.
Yeah, usually there's like a defined actual like boundary. So like then the city has ways you can officially register your block club, and I think you define boundaries. So yeah, I'll ask about that and report back at the meeting.
Okay, and so before we start our own block club for around Northwestern, I just wanted to check, because it's always I think numbers makes clubs better in some ways.
Yeah. And there's already a bunch of people. Wayne's already engaged. Yeah, this block club will be attended by a bunch of different people.
Well, that sounds awesome. Yeah. So if you don't mind reporting back on what y'all discussed, like what people think is worth paying attention to, I think that would be.
Yeah, I'm happy to report back for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. Well, I'm looking forward to being back. And
you got a date yet?
Well, I'm gonna probably like May 4th or 5th.
Nice. Okay.
And I may need a place to stay, Damien. So if any of your rooms are ready to stay, I'm happy to pay rent. I mean, I know I said I would never pay rent, but this is an exception. So is Log Cabin House ready for people, for like one person to live in?
No, unfortunately, it ain't. I wish it was, but
no worries.
It was, we was trying to get it close, anticipating that, but I know like by June it probably would be.
Yeah, no worries. I might stay with my friend Toby, who is really good at real estate houses as well. He lives in Farmington Hills, and I'll definitely come by and help with the house. I'm looking forward to it. I've been away for too long.
Yeah, it's been a long time, bro.
Yeah, like I want to see. I'll come by Log Cabin. I'll come by Griggs. You're still working on that house, and and this one that you're at too.
Yeah. All right, yep. I'll show y'all what we got done so far. Let's see, getting it up there now.
Oh, nice. That's exterior insulation. That's new. That's not something that we've done on any of our houses.
Yeah, I know. This is my first time really seeing it. I seen like Not the pink. I seen like blue or something like that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like on the outside of the plywood, and then you put siding on top.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It go right on top of the plywood. Yep.
That should work. Yeah. Well, now's the time to do it in the summertime, like
Yeah.
before it gets cold.
Yep.
And well, I guess like one last thing I'll say about NACA is that I am myself going through the NACA process so that I know what it's like and how hard it is, and then I can help other people do it. Like if Slim wants to go through it, I think that would be we could do it together. And I have to show that I can save $443 per month, and I have to have a down payment of $5,000. So I'm working on that right now, and I'm going to have another phone call with them in 6 months. They're going to check in on me, and you know, they're going to see my tax return and decide whether I can move forward. But yeah, so anyone else who wants to do that program, and I said I wanted to borrow $60,000 at the end. So my budget was like $5,000 for a land bank house, and then $55,000 for renovating it, which, you know, ballpark is about how much it would be for a single family home.
Yeah.
And it could be a little less than that, but I know Slim has his eye on a house on Lothrop, and I wanted to help him get it because, you know, he's a sweetheart. So
he always talk about that that little blue house.
Yeah, exactly. You know the one I'm talking about. So
yeah.
So I'll talk to him more about that. Maybe we can go through it together. And so for my $60,000, I still want a rammed earth house. And I still want it on a lot that's collectively owned somewhere. So this summer, I might take a week off to go learn how to do rammed earth, or there are a few architect builders I found that I want to hire. And so once I qualify for this mortgage, you know, I'll have $60,000, and then I'll see who is willing to, you know, build me a rammed earth house or finish this A-frame. I think we started this A-frame. That's probably a better idea. So I'll probably use my $60,000 to finish this A-frame, and we just got to decide where to put it.
Yeah, one thing I was also going to offer, I think there can. I'm also happy to, Damien, in case it's relevant to you, you know that zero interest home repair loan from the city. I can, I'm ever helpful for you or anyone that, you know, I was going to mention at the block club too, but like I'm happy to help navigating the, you know, help people file for that. You know, I'm pretty good at filing for things and navigating complicated bureaucratic, you know, applications. So that's something I'm also happy to volunteer to help folks with. And that seems like a really cool opportunity for, you know, yeah, basically where the city's offering, but I think anywhere from 2,000 to 10,000 in certain areas of the city to have like a loan to do home repairs.
Right.
And then you just have to fill out an application. So anyway, if anybody wants help with filling that out or navigating, I'm happy to help with that.
Okay, no problem. Appreciate that.
Yeah. No, Adrian, you are good at that stuff, and also knowing about programs. I think that requires you to own the house, right? So that's
it does. It does require owning the house. Yeah.
So I don't think we could do it for a log cabin.
Yeah, probably not log cabin.
The land bank, but you know, Damien, if you have other houses that you own the title to right now, you could totally do that.
Yeah, I was thinking about using that for, you know, the house that I'm in now.
Yeah.
I think I had somebody from Wayne Metro. She was telling me about it.
Oh, okay, cool.
She had told me about some other programs too. I got like a whole PowerPoint on all the programs, so you know, I'd be happy to share it with y'all. That'd
be dope.
Yeah. It's a lot of different little programs they had. So
yeah, please do. The more programs we can qualify for, the better.
Yep.
Cool.
You already know.
Okay, well, that's all I had to talk about.
Yeah, same.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Oh yeah, no problem. I appreciate it. And I guess I'll just be on the lookout for the agreement. You could send it to me through the text message or whatever, or you can email it. It don't matter.
Yeah, I'll send it right after this call to
Okay.
both of you, Adrian and Dane.
Cool. Sounds good, Paul.
Yeah. Well, if you think of anything else, just let us know. And otherwise, yeah, good luck on the house. Good luck on being married. And I'll see you guys around first week of May. Try to get back as soon as I can.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. Take care, guys. See you, Damien. Paul.
All right, y'all. Y'all take care.
All right.